Hello, I am Keshav Jain, and welcome to today's Explore podcast, where we bring great insights and knowledge for our audiences through interactions with legends and veterans of the industry. Today, we have a privilege to host Mr. Shrikant Sarda, a trailblazer and transformative technology, consulting, and corporate leadership. Sir is a managing director at Accenture and a certified independent director. His pioneering work has set benchmarks in digital strategy, innovation, and mentoring. Today, we explore his unique journey, the lessons behind his achievements, and his vision for unlocking business and societal impact. So, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much, Keshav, for having me. Looking forward to the discussions.
So, sir, to start with, I have a few lighter questions, post which will go into the depth of more questions. I'll start with the first one, sir. So, your childhood dream or an alternate career that you might have if you're not doing the things you're doing right now?
Oh, interesting question, Keshav. My dream was to become a doctor.
Okay.
That's what I was focusing on, but unfortunately could not. And I think that's how I landed into engineering or the technology world. Otherwise, I would have been a doctor doing some other work, saving lives.
That's very interesting, sir. I think the work that you're doing right now, even that is saving a lot of organizations, maybe. So we can say you are a doctor to the organizations. But moving
Yes.
forward, sir, any book or any movie that you usually go into or you recommend people to watch or read?
I am not a movie person. If I had to spend my free time, I would prefer reading book.
Okay.
And I read a lot of books, not a sci-fi, not a fictional book, but more motivational, the biographies of the people to understand and learn from their journey. So that's what I generally do, and I recommend that to do for others also.
That's great. Uh, Sir, if you think about someone, maybe a family member or a mentor or a colleague, who would that person be who has influenced you a lot or maybe the most in your life or in your career?
I would say for different characters of the areas, I have different people who have great influence on me.
Okay.
And some of the softer aspect that I believe are very, very important for me is ethics and integrity.
Correct.
And I think that I learned from my father.
Okay.
So he has a great influence on me on a social work or social cause. Again, is influenced by my father. On my leadership style, has been greatly influenced by my senior supervisors during my early days in my career, about especially how they have given me a headroom to operate without any constraint or without any oversight, being there for me in case something is not going on fine, giving that moral support and psychological safety net so that I can try out different things, take the risk, and explore the world. So I would put those my supervisors as my influencing my leadership style to large extent. And today also they are my sounding boards. And I believe that you need to have someone as a sounding board where you can express your thoughts, ideas, even sometimes fears also, in a very open manner without any fear of retaliation or any other apprehension, so that you get a best possible suggestion or a way forward.
True, sir. I think judgment-free room always brings out new ideas and it gives us that courage to
Yes.
think about it. Yes, definitely I align with that. And with that, I'll move forward to the more specific questions that I
Sure.
have for you, sir. So, sir, you have led historic transformations in Accenture and various other organizations, and you have created immense value for your clients. So, how do you approach the recent phenomenon and the challenges of continuously evolving technology? Because for the organization that is implementing and for the clients as well, it gets very difficult to cope up with it. So, how do you look forward to that?
No, it's a great question. It's a very pertinent question because we are living in an era where the technology disruption is happening much faster
True.
and at a much larger scale than what we have observed. And if I go back to centuries back, right, when the first kind of a disruption happened during the Industrial Revolution,
Yes, sir.
it lasted for many, many decades. When you have then, if I go to the next one, you have this machines coming in, the computers coming in, that revolution, disruption lasted for many years. But now we're in an era where the disruptions are happening in a matter of year.
Yeah.
And those are happening at a much larger pace, much larger frequency. So how do your business kind of deal with such kind of disruption? Is very, very critical. And in my experience, what I do typically when I engage with my customers or any other associates is look at not get bogged down by the disruption, not feel that as a something that you should avoid, but how do I embrace that one?
Correct.
Right. Second one I kind of is what is the value that we want to achieve from the business or action that one is doing, and that value needs to drive all the other actions. Be it could be a simple cost saving approach or launching a new product. If you focus on the outcome, then you can start driving the actions behind that one. And second, not to shy away from the adopting the technology. I deal with a lot of board members. I kind of outside my professional work, I give the training to the board members on how to leverage the technology. And in that, I only talk about, okay, look at the technology, what is happening in your industry as well as in other industry, and see how you can take that learning and implement or contextualize for your business.
Correct, sir. I mean, cross-industry learning is something which would be very important for any organization. We have seen examples of great companies learning from a very different industry and then prospering through some kind of transformation. I totally see that happening in the upcoming years, sir. So moving forward, so your leadership is credited to build innovation culture in Accenture, and we have seen a lot of new offices coming in tier 2, tier 3 cities where the primary focus has been on the tech and the innovation part. You also mentioned that you train the directors for innovating how they think in the boardroom. So what are your top insights or kind of suggestions to them regarding the experimentations or the curiosity that they can bring to their organizations, especially during the technology revolution and a lot of regulations also coming, because I believe the directors has to primarily focus on the regulation part as well.
I will give it maybe in two parts. One is the technology, another one is the regulations. Sure. and the compliance that needs to be followed. Now we are in, as I mentioned, we are in era of disruptive transformation. Everything is getting challenged, disturbed all over. The ways of working, everything has been challenged, and there has been new ways of working, new technologies coming in, and the way we interact with each other is also changing.
True, sir.
Now that also means, and how do we thrive in this one? Is how quickly you experiment with it. How do you bring that culture of innovation across the organization, not just in the boardroom, or not in the innovation room, or not in a small team, but across the organization. And in my experience, kind of outside my professional work, interacting with other stakeholders, is that a culture of the innovation is still a challenge. The reason I say that is a challenge is we typically do not celebrate the failures. Now, in a technology disruption, a lot of things are unknown.
Correct.
A lot of things you're getting into uncharted territories. Now, how do you ensure that activity that you are doing in uncharted territories are going to be successful or not? Now, if we are not kind of celebrating the failures also, and in a corporate world, generally you don't celebrate failures. You only celebrate the success. But behind the success, can be a lot of failures. Correct. And if nobody tries something new, things will not work out. Things will be done the way it has been done for many years. And very soon that company, that process, that offering will become obsolete from the new market point of view. So how do you encourage the failures, celebrate the failures, so that people try something new, they fail fast? A very common term that we use in the management is fail fast. But before, in that concept also, are you encouraging people to fail fast?
Correct.
Are you rewarding them for failing fast and learning something new, so that you build that safety net to people to try something new?
Yes.
And because if you don't try in this world, there will be no innovation. Not everything that you try will be success. It may be a failure. So how do you encourage people to try something new, give them a safety net or confidence that if they don't succeed, it's not going to have a negative impact in the corporate world, so that they get that headroom, they get that confidence, and they try something new and kind of make the things for better. So that is from the innovation culture point of view. While doing all this one, of course we cannot say we will not have a compliance and regulation not taken care of, because that can have a huge impact on the company's positioning in the market, financially, brand wise, and across all the parameters. And it has become more important to give a focus on that regulation compliance, especially when you are in the technology era where generative AI or those new technologies are coming in, where the questions of ethics, compliance, integrity are becoming very, very important. And still there is no very definitive answer about how to take care of all this.
Correct.
So the companies, and my guidance to the stakeholders is always build a culture of innovation by encouraging failures, rewarding failures. Of course, I'm not saying that you keep on failing and you keep on rewarding, but learning from that and improving so that people try something new and you get a better outcome. While doing all this one, do not lose focus on regulation and compliance, because there are a lot of unknowns. So ensure that those unknowns are taken care of through a regulation and compliance point of view.
That's true, sir. And also I have observed that company have this conflict within themselves where they often try to push the projects or the innovations towards profitability very quick. They don't allow the teams to fail in the innovation they are trying to do. And both in the implementer side and in the client side, we see that often the CXO, the boards ask about how it is going to get some profit to us. And
so innovation needs to be kind of helping the business.
Yes.
Either increase their top line or increase their bottom line or expand their market. It needs to be driven by the business outcome.
Yes.
Right. So that is definitely is. Otherwise, there's no point in a corporate we're doing innovation for the sake of doing innovation.
That's true.
It needs to be tied to the business outcome. That's where you will get your resources to do the work on that. So that is important. There is absolutely no second thoughts on that front. While doing that one, if there are expectation of can you give me a quick result?
Yeah.
Right. So in that case, my suggestion is that okay, you may not be able to give the results in a say month, 2 months, or quarter, and if your idea or your product will need a longer time, show them the entire path.
Correct.
And how you are going to achieve that end picture by putting various jigsaw pieces into one proper arrangement so that you get a end product, and show the progress or kind of on a continuous basis how you are improving, how you are on the path to meet that end outcome. And many times I have seen, if they see that one, and if the top management is convinced that that's the right way to go about it, they will support, they will give that resources that you need to achieve your outcome.
I think clear communication in any kind of change or transformation is quite necessary. Sir, so I'll move forward to another set of questions, and this is more related to your other roles, mentoring startups and academic institutions. You have been a part of Atal Mission, and also you have been mentoring several universities and CBSE as well. So how are you looking forward to it in terms of the gaps that currently exist in the startup or the academic world that you see is very necessary for us to cover? And then what is the good part that you are seeing which you feel is going to be a strength of the country as a whole?
Oh, great question. In fact, it's very close to my heart as well. Now, one thing, a broader good part, why I am focused on this point is today India is one of the very young country. India's average is 29 years. It means next 30 years India is going to be having that demographic strength behind them,
The younger population.
and they are going to build their professional career, be it a job or their own business in that 30 years. That will take India to the next level of growth and make it India as one of the developed country as well. Now that will not happen just because we have young country. There are in India average roughly about 15 lakh engineers comes every day, about 25 every year, about 25 lakh science graduate every year. That's a huge number of people who are coming into the workforce. Now that's the academic side of the situation.
Correct.
If I shift to the corporate side, those young graduates, when they come to the corporate world, corporates spend a lot of time and their energy and funds to train them on the skills that are required to carry out the professional work. It can be technical skill, it can be non-technical skills, but which are very, very critical in this technology-driven industry or world. Now, that's the gap which exists between what academic institutes are doing and what corporates are expecting.
Correct.
And I'm working for last 6 years on how to bridge this gap by bringing my industry expertise, what industry needs expect from these young graduates, and how do I help academic institutes so that they can start giving some of those knowledge, those training, those behavioral as well as the technical aspects to the student while they are studying.
Yes.
So that when they are out of the college, coming to the professional world, they have much better opportunity. They are ready to take on the new challenges. So that's where the gap is right now, and that's where I'm focusing on, so that if we are able to fix the gap between what academic institutes are giving and what corporate world need, it will help academic institutes, it will help corporate to save their cost, get the talent early on, or make them productive early on, and that will drive the overall economy, which will help us to become a developed nation much faster than what currently is anticipated.
Yes, sir. Even globally, we have seen this phenomenon of corporates tying up with universities or institutions to provide that guidance on what the industry needs and how they can upskill the new upcoming generations in relevance of the industry.
So my motto is academic institute produce qualified engineer or qualified management trainee.
Yes.
Industry need a skilled engineer or skilled management training, and that's qualified to skill journey is the gap that needs to be bridged.
That's true, sir. Sir, with all these answers, I have admired one thing, that you have been dealing with a lot of stakeholders across domains. I mean, be it the organizations we just talked about, the academics and the startups, and also then different kind of boards and the board directors that you train and mentor. And apart from your co-work at Accenture, so what is the secret sauce of dealing with such a large number of stakeholders across domains?
Two points to this one. One, my selfish motive, because when I interact with this different stakeholder, my learning goes up significantly.
Okay.
I learn a lot from the new generation, the way they think, the way their thought process is. I'm not saying they're right or wrong, but it's some new ways of thinking, new way of approaching the problem, which I may not have even experienced or may not have gone through. So that is one learning from me. When I talk to the academic institutes, I understand their point of view.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a learning for me. When I talk to the board members, I get their point of view from a completely different view.
Yes.
What their focus. So for me, selfish interest to interact with this one is I get to learn.
Okay.
Right. So that is number one. Now, second question I keep getting is how you are getting so much time.
That's true.
Right. Now, I'm a firm believer that if you are passionate about something, you will find a time to spend on that activity. If you are not passionate, one will find multiple reasons why it cannot be done. So I focus generally on, if I'm passionate, I focus on how I make it happen instead of why it will not be possible. And there is a subtle difference, right?
Correct.
because it's very easy to say 10 reasons to say why something will not work versus giving 2 reasons that how we will make it work. And these 2 things are requires a lot of thinking, a lot of kind of hard work, a lot of analysis that you need to do it. But since I am kind of motivated to do that one, I find time to do this activity because my selfish interest is I get to learn.
Okay. Yeah, I think that would be a great lesson for all of us to think about the purpose or the passion we align with. And I think everyone who finds their purpose or passion will get some time to at least go into that. That's a great lesson for us.
I think there was, when I was into the corporate world, one of my manager told me, "Oh, give the work to the most busy person. He will find a time to get it done."
Correct.
And that's is true today also. If you are passionate and if you get some work in that area, you will find a time to spend on that activity and get the outcome.
Correct. Sir, apart from, again, I mean, I have been very fascinated about the variety of things you have been doing, and that also covers certain patents that you have been working on, mostly on the tech and the AI data analytics part. So, how does these ideas originate in the first place, and how have they helped you to shape the work that you have been doing for Accenture?
Great question. Actually, of course, these ideas are not generated out of it's not that in one room we said, okay, this is a time to think and come out with an idea which will get a patent. It was a business challenge that we were trying to solve.
Okay, a real life client problem.
Real life client problem we were trying to solve. And I was with my team, we were brainstorming, and one idea I gave some thought process, someone else kind of added their point of view. So we 3 or 4, and this patent is me, and along with me, I think 3 or 4 of us kind of got co-patented. So we all kind of started, how do we solve this business challenge? And we came out with a initial idea, then started collaborating with each other, and we say, okay, this seems to be a solution that can not only address this one, but it can be taken as a patent also, or as a something asset that can be developed. So it started with a business problem that you want to address, gone into the collaboration mode, kind of thinking, brainstorming. I will not use the design thinking and all those jargons, but essentially it was like, okay, let's get into room, let's see what we can do to solve this problem, and not kind of rejecting any idea that came.
Okay.
One thing that we did, 4 or 5 of us, we were discussing, is that list down all the ideas, even though I may have a strong view that point may not work.
Yes.
But we said, okay, list down so that everyone start contributing, and then we came up with one idea kind of combined with different point of view, so we came a much better solution.
Correct.
And then we kind of gone ahead developing that solution, which then became part of one of our bigger asset.
Okay.
And that's how, and then we said, okay, why not file the patent also? So that's how the journey started. For all the 5 patents that I have, it was more or less similar journey that we started. Okay, let's look at the business problem and see what can be done.
That's amazing, sir. And I think that drives us to maybe think about keeping on the innovation even if we are working, and that's a really good lesson for us, sir. So a couple of last questions, sir.
Sure.
The boardrooms and the consulting firms both have this dilemma of balancing the risks and innovations, and both are like high intensity environments. So how do you suggest someone to handle these regulatory and ethical and cultural pressures or challenges that both the modern day boardrooms and the consulting firms face?
See, actually, the boardroom and consulting firms have the same objective. Boardroom is there for the management of that company, to guide them, help them steer in the path or the strategy that they have. Say management has come out with the strategy to execute that strategy. They are kind of their guide to help them reach that strategy or end objective that they want to achieve. Even consultants, our objective is the same, that how do we make our customers successful in their strategy, kind of giving our input. If there are some some improvement can be done in the strategy. Board job is the same. So maybe consultants are coming from outside in. Boards are kind of trying to help from inside organization. So, but objective is same. Okay, so that is easy. That way, is the end. Once the end goals are aligned, your actions automatically become complementary to each other. Okay, and risk, compliance, investment, these are the decisions. Those are hard decisions needs to be taken. Like if you don't do the investment in new technology or a new product or new services, very soon someone else will come and take away your market share.
Correct.
Kind of potentially the company may not exist if you don't do it. And we have seen in the business world many such examples. Some of the product which were an iconic product few years back, they are no longer exist today.
That's true.
Right? It's not that they did not had a great strategy or approach, but maybe that time the decisions taken was more from a different point of view, maybe more short-term view versus the long-term kind of view. But we have seen that one. So how do you leverage a technology, do the right investment, even if it is risking your existing business, but if it is kind of going to help you grow your business multifold over next 5 year, 10 year, I think that's the way a consultant can recommend, suggest to the companies to make the investment, and same way board will do that.
Yes.
So it's complementary, but yes, those risk decisions needs to be taken.
That's true, sir. Sir, so one final questions, and this is about 3 competencies that you'd look into for every aspiring leader or a modern day consultant, or maybe someone who aspires to be in a board someday. So what would be those 3 competencies that you look for, and maybe this can be a good guidance towards people who are looking into these domains?
I will not give 3, I will give you 5.
Okay, sir.
Okay. And the reason I'm saying 5 because I genuinely believe those are the 5 skills every consultant should have it today to be a successful over a longer duration.
Okay.
And the first one I would say is the focus on continuous learning, especially in the era that consultants are current era and going to be the same case for next few years for sure, is disruption happening, industry boundaries are overlapping, new industries are creating, there is always something new coming up. So how do you learn something that has worked for you? May not, how do you unlearn that and learn something new? And that requires a commitment of your personal time, a personal commitment that you will keep on doing learning and unlearning and learning, and do it at a scale. Okay, and I would call it as active continuous learning.
Okay.
Right, it's like you are intentionally finding out what is new happening and then learn on that one. At the same time, forget about what worked very well for you. I'm not saying forget the lessons, but forget the ways of working kind of thing. Okay. The second one I would say is about how do you be comfortable with uncomfortable situation.
Okay.
The moment you come into your comfort zone, your learning stops, or you start having a diminishing returns on your learning. And we have many business examples where businesses were in their comfort zone, forgot the competition that was coming up from the side, and one fine day, suddenly the competition became much bigger than their core business, and they started kind of struggling to survive. So how do you become comfortable with uncomfortable situation? So that is the second learning, which is very, very important for any consultant to be kind of focus on that one. And we have a mindset to push one from that comfort zone in a intentional manner to go into the uncomfortable zone, and then come in the comfort zone over there, so that your overall sphere of comfort increases, and you keep on increasing that sphere by continuously doing comfortable, uncomfortable situation. The third one, which is important for anybody who is entering into the professional corporate world, is we are living in a globalized world. It's no longer a protectionist kind of thing that is going to work. Though we see some kind of a protectionist coming in, but overall we are much more globalized world. And even though India has a huge number of consumers, doesn't mean that should not aim for becoming a global player.
Yeah.
So how do you think global but act local?
Correct.
That is important, because if you act local, if you are in a product company, you design a product which is suitable for India.
Yeah.
Maybe you design it with India as a context, but look at your aim should be that I need to take this product to the global.
Correct.
So you think global, but act local, so that you kind of be successful in your overall product or service, whatever you are doing, right? Or even consulting that you are going to do to your customers, right? These are the three kind of skills that you can learn. You can learn, get some training, and build your skills on top of that. The other two, which are very, very important, which are cannot be taught to some extent, but those are, the fourth one is very, very definitely very individual. Is about how do you demonstrate highest level of ethics and integrity.
Correct.
Okay, and that's the reason I'm saying this individual is each individual needs to show that the ethics and highest level of integrity. And you can have multiple trainings to cover ethics and integrity, but it's at the end of the day that individual needs to take a call. What is ethical behavior and what is integrity that levels
Comes from within.
Comes from within.
Yeah.
Okay, and that person needs to be conscious about that one. I'm not saying that you cannot develop that ethics and integrity, but it needs to be conscious that is my decision ethical? Is my decision meeting my integrity parameters? And it need not be because my company policy says that this is ethical, this is integrity decision. Of course, those are guardrails you need to follow when you are in corporate, but I'm talking slightly bigger than that, broader than that, about what's your personal ethics and integrity. And those needs to be highest standard. So that's the fourth from a long-term success point of view, because if you don't do it, yes, in a short run, you may see that you are getting success, right? Or you may see someone who is not following ethics and integrity becoming successful, but over a long run, that doesn't work. And once you fall from that, because of that reason, recovering from that is exceptionally difficult.
Okay.
The last thing, which is important again, is how do you take care of your mental wellness? It is proven by multiple scientific studies that if you are not taking care of your mental well-being, it impacts on your physical health, it impacts on your professional work, it impacts your interpersonal relationship, it impacts the family and every aspect of your life. So how do you take care of mental wellness? That is important, and for that each individual needs to work on his or her ways of handling the mental wellness, ways of handling stress. Because when one enter into corporate professional world, there will be a lot of situations where you will have a lot of stress. Sometimes because of the external things which are beyond your control.
Yeah.
COVID is a great example. It was nobody's control, and that has given a lot of stress to a lot of people. So how do you manage stress so that it doesn't impact your overall mental well-being is very important, and you need to have a very structured approach to take care of your mental well-being so that it helps you in a longer term career. So these are the 5 things I would suggest any new professional consultant coming into professional world to actively work on this one.
That was really insightful, sir. And with that, we come to the end of this podcast, sir.
Thank
it
you very
was
much.
Really enjoying conversation, and I just wish it never ends. But I look forward to talk to you again and interact again, sir. And thank you for your wonderful time and great insights, sir.
Thank you very much, Keshav.
Thank you.
It's been nice talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.